Yo, crypto nation and mining family. Crypto nation and mining family. What's going on? Of course, like always, it's not financial advice. Yo! Yo, crypto nation and mining family, what's going on out there? Sorry for being just a scotch late. If any of you guys have cats, you'll know that this is now hairball season since the season's changing to fall. Yeah. So like right before I'm settling in to start up, yeah, cat decided to go get himself sick. Don't worry, tested positive for the COVIDs, right? Yep, today is the day we do a little teardown on this bad boy. Yo, oh, on the workbench. So I will be doing a very comprehensive stuff's everywhere that I don't want it to be. Alright, let's do that like that, and hopefully none of that got. Okay, cool. Alright. Get that toolkit out. I think this is all I'm gonna need. Hey, what's going on, Frosty Muffin? What's up, what's up, what's up, all you party people out there? Got Crypto Mikkel, got Emmanuel Mantos, Crypto Mining Lifer. I'm the Fence Tech. Yo, what's up, everybody? Grits, what up, Dan the Dane? And of course, Frosty Muffin. So what's going on, guys? And don't forget to smash that lizardy like button. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Helps me out on them YouTube algorithms. You know how that goes. So today I plan on doing a breakdown on this. I want to see what's under the hood. That is some nerd PRON that we're going to be doing today. So hopefully that's all I'm going to need is just the one screwdriver, and let's go ahead and take it all apart here. So wrong one. Inception. So got my nice DSLR camera. So I'm gonna try to get a nice zoomed in look on the PCB. And we will be taking a look at all the little different components on there, kind of going over everything, and go from there, guys. Oop. I got something that I don't want to show off. Trying to fall into the screen. Alright, so let's try it again. Workbench. Bam. Going to check for those capacitors. Anti-static, I've touched a rig frame already, so I'm not really too overly concerned. You gotta really build up some good static to really damage one of these cards. I mean, if you're ever in doubt, touch a computer case, which I'm doing right meow, just in case anybody's, think I don't have a camera to prove that I'm touching my computer case. But as long as you've grounded yourself recently, my house isn't too staticky and all that good stuff. Yeah, or touching the radiator, but that's actually aluminum. So I mean, this is all aluminum. It's not like you're sitting there gonna discharge yourself. You need steel to discharge yourself into. That's why I touch computer cases or rig frames and stuff like that. It's like, I get them by the 100. I'll send you a few. All right. All right. without any further ado, let's dig on in here. So typically on these fans, let's see, I got one screw, trying to see here, 2 screws, 3, 4. All right, so there's 4 screws to actually undo the fans. Depending on how long I do the breakdown on here, I'm sure we don't need to do a tutorial on how to take a fan out. I'll usually save those for whenever fans break, and then I fish them out. Just because, in my experience, taking off the shrouds off of the coolers is usually pretty fragile, and it looks like it's like these little screws around the perimeter holding it in this time, which is a lot better than the 3070s, especially the Gamer X's. And it might even be these like 4 screws in the center to get the whole shroud up. I will check that aspect out. I might not take off. You know what? Yeah, I bet you that's all up underneath there like that. Yeah. So it looks like these 4 screws here. There's 2 screws on the bottom and 2 screws on the top, and that should release the shroud off from the cooler, leaving the fans behind. But let's go ahead and dig on in. And it looks like in order to get the back plate off, it's got a screw with nuts on there. So I'm gonna first off, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna release the back plate off first. So without any further ado, let's do it. Do I have the right one? And I already think I need to. Let me see if it'll let me. It let me do it with just putting my thumb on it. Cool. All right. Make sure we put all the stuff back together, and since this is going to be a new card taking it apart, I'm going to kind of lay everything out exactly how I pulled it apart. Alright, so gonna go like that, gonna go like that. So then there's to take the rear I/O shield off. There are 4 screws on the very front of this. Which of course you're a smaller screw driver, which I do have. Just a matter of where you're at. Alright, there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and take everything apart on this. And there's the rear bracket. I do like how they did powder coat this black. So that's actually a nice little improvement. Alright, so now I can go ahead and take off the rest of these. Let's go ahead and grab the other screwdriver. All right. That's the 4 there. All right, now I got 2 in the center here. And there's one underneath the sticker. It doesn't say do not remove, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm removing this. Now the back plate should come off. Now there is thermal pads on this back plate, so I know it's going to be partially stuck. Hopefully it comes off nice. Oh, yo, look at that. Oh, wow, check that out. So we've got cooling heat pipes on the back side of this thing. Dude, that is baller. I absolutely love that they put a heat pipe onto this. So they're trying to basically spread out the heat from the modules out onto the back plate. I absolutely approve of this. Yes. They all need to be doing this. This is a proper back plate, guys. Holy cow. I was actually not expecting that. I'm just saying. All right. Damn. I don't know what to say about that. EVGA, you rock with this one. And putting in heat pipes onto the back plate. I've never seen any manufacturer do that before. So that's how EVGA is spreading heat out onto this metal back plate. And it is metal. Damn. And then this is a LED panel. It does light up behind the EVGA on this. So, bam. So if I wanted to disable it, this would be the time to disable it. You know, you just pull it out. Now the LED would be completely disabled, never to turn on again. So that's one LED that you can take off right off the bat. All right, and I easily take off. And what I'm doing now is I'm undoing the plugs that I can get to right off the bat. All right. So what I just did now is that there's 3 plugs here. These are going to be for the fans, I'm going to assume. They are color coordinated, so it's really hard to mess that up. And let's see if I can lift up. Now I do like that they put I'm trying to carefully pick up one of these thermal pads. I don't need to take them all of them off, but I'd like to take one off clean. Alright, so there we go. I've got one of the pads off, very nice and cleanly. And I'm going to see if I can read what's on here. So these are memory modules DQT77D8BGX. So these are definitely X memory modules. I am actually curious. Yeah, I've got 2 rows of the MLCs, and then I've got 4 of the SP caps. I will get into that in just a moment here. I actually want to look up the memory module and see who actually produces this bad boy. So it's hard to read it. I gotta like put it in just the right light here. So okay, so zero Q T 77 D 8 BGX. So that doesn't come up with anything. Let me try who makes. Alright, so it doesn't say who made the module, the memory module either. I'd probably have to look it up in GPU-Z if it recognizes if this is Samsung or SK Hynix. I'm wanting to actually take a picture of this too, so give me a moment. I'm going to take pictures of this as I go along. So if anybody would ever want the pictures that I'm about to take here, hit me up. And there we go. I'm going to see if I can get a good pic of the lettering on this. Come on. There we go. Perfect. All right, I was able to get a picture of the wording on the memory module. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to go ahead and put the pad back on here. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, yeah, it's probably the same stuff that Crucial is using, but it doesn't say who's actually the manufacturer on it. All right, so now the only screws left on the back are actually just holding the back, the cooler on. It's got the same kind of spring system that AMD uses. So it looks like NVIDIA decided to go, yo, AMD, you've got a great idea. We're going to borrow this from you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slowly start taking these off. Giving them a little turn at a time because I don't want it to go pwing. Always kind of walk these around a little bit when you got a spring system like that. There we go, we got one up. Got two up. Wow, this thing really kind of flies up with some force. Holy cow. Alright. So there we go. We got the tension spring. So that's how much of a bend that's on that tension spring. There are it's like a non-conductive rubber on the back side of this, with like a little bit of like a plastic feel to it, so it probably can move around on there. There we go. So that little black piece on there is it's like a little bit of protection to the PCB, and also probably lets the cooler move around while it's doing all of that good stuff. Make sure that I've got the proper orientation on you. Even though it doesn't look like it makes a difference in which way it's plugged in, let's go ahead and separate the card. There are no other screws that I'm missing. Excellent. Ooh-wee. It is thoroughly stuck on here. Come on. And there we go. Bam. Just like that. Alright, so it looks like thermal pad right here got destroyed trying to lift this thing up. Wow. Oops, so did this back one here too. Looked like even this got a little foobarred. So I'm gonna have to replace the pads over here. It almost looks like, oh, that's kind of chintzy, almost like they've got thermal paste on here. This feels like thermal paste. Like, it's like pasty-like. Wow, that's like a thermal paste and not a pad. That's interesting. It's not like the pads. I mean, it's got, and then you can see that their paste that they use is already kind of dry. Yeah, that's like disgusting, actually. So, yeah. It's almost like, this is almost like a paste. Or a really weird thermal pad. I'm gonna replace it with a thermal pad. So, but it definitely looks like thermal paste. Like, you can see that, wow, I honestly think that they put thermal paste up onto these. Huh. That's interesting. That means I should be able to just wipe. Uh-oh. Perfect. Alright, cool. Yep, it wipes off like thermal paste. I just wiped it off of... Wow, I wonder why they went with thermal paste on there. That is definitely thermal paste. Wow. Why did they go with thermal paste? Why? That is really interesting that they went down that route. Alright. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Yeah, that's definitely like a thermal paste for sure. Hotter spots, yeah, but I don't see why they would need to have done thermal paste on this. That's just really goofy. It's like, do I want to put thermal paste back on there? I'm not sure what I want to do now. That makes me question stuff. That is definitely thermal paste. Interesting. That's some really goofy stuff. I have never seen thermal paste on a... There has to be a reason why. You would think so. One would think so. I mean, considering how much wattage this thing is going to be using, I mean, I kind of see some of the benefits to it, but damn. So I'm just wiping off the VGA chip real quick. Alright, bam. Now that's all nice and clean. And it's like a different kind of paste too. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's like gummy. It's almost like a gum. That is like the weirdest. It's like a putty. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this has any difference than the... I mean, I don't see any benefit of that, really. Alright, so, but bam. And considering I don't know how much thermal paste I'd have to put into here, I'm just going to lay down thermal pads onto it. I've got enough of it. I can't imagine that they're going to use a better thermal pad than I'm going to use. But we'll go ahead and we're going to check this out. We're going to find out if they use better thermal pads than I got and all that good stuff. Dan the Dane's like, yeah, it's not standard CPU paste. Use that 3M paste. What size thermal pads do you think? What size thermal pads you need though? They look like they were 1 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead. I'll put it together, and I'm gonna make sure that it comes in contact. I've got 1 millimeter right now. And I can certainly check out. Let me get my Arctic stuff out of here. Worst case scenario, I just gotta double it up. But here's my 1 millimeter thermal pads. And did I leave a pair of scissors over here? Yes, I did. Nice. All right. Ba-bam. And then one thing I think is really interesting, if you look at the PCB on here, Gigabyte uses like this funky block and it plugs in over here, where they just extended the PCB so that it goes right in there. Sorry on the fence tech. Sorry, but not sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a little test here before I start playing around with this. I want to cut a length. Yeah, everybody did it this way except for Gigabyte. And the plastic on these thermal pads are a pain in the butt to get off, I swear. Alright, so I'm going to just dry fit this on here real quick. Alright, so 1 millimeter is the thickness on that, guys. 1 millimeter works just fine. D-Tech, why did you... He's like, why did you take that apart? Because I want to see it on the PCB level. Why not? I'm not afraid to take this stuff apart. I'm a mechanic. I want to take stuff apart. Yeah. It is chintzy. The plastic housing on it, yeah. What's the size, Nem? I have no idea. You talking for this sizing on here? I have no idea. I just cut them to the size. I basically I'll use the stand on there as my template, and then I just kind of cut everything to fit. That's just kind of how I roll. I don't even measure the stuff. But I do know that these two platforms are about the same size, so I'm going to go ahead and cut another one to go on there. All right. Make sure we're good. Yeah. That's the way. I like it. All right, here. Oh. Stupid stickers. And then the other reason why I wanted to take it apart, D-Tech, was so that I basically can change out the thermal pad paste on the CPU, because they use cheaper thermal paste. We all know this. I mean, that stuff was already hard and crusty on there, so I find benefit on doing this. And I like to see what's underneath the hood too. All right, cool. That's all cleaned up really nicely. All right, so I don't know if my camera will show this very nicely, but you can see through this fan fairly nicely, which corresponds with a few of the holes in the PCB, so they are still letting air through. It's not like the Founders Edition, because they do have an LED right behind here. See, bam, LED, that you can unplug if you were so inclined to do. If you're trying to save a watt or two while mining, you can unplug this cable right here. And then on the cooler side, there's one more cable here that you don't have to plug in, because it is literally making stuff nasty. I must have flaked off some of that. Ew, that's nasty. But you don't have to plug in this one, and that'll turn off the top header LEDs off. Does not affect performance in any way, shape, or form if you were to do so. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move the cooler out of the way. Now we're going to take a look at the PCB on this. I'm kind of leaving it up because I do have the thermal pads on the back side. I did not take them off, except for one pad. All right, cool. So it looks like they have a couple of markings on here to kind of remind them orientation of where it has to go onto the PCB. I'm all cool with that. All right, so let me get this out of the way, this out of the way. Okay, so this module and this MOSFET are for memory. Same thing with this one and this one. Both of these are memory MOSFETs. The rest of these are either this side is core 1, this side is core 2. So core 1 is the main VGA chip itself. The VGA chip is going to need nice steady rate power, and then these ones are going to be more for like the VRMs going into the VGA chip and stuff like that. Heck yeah, Tech Man. Smash that lizardy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Because we got cool naked circuitry here. Nerd PRON. GPU Jesus approves. Alright, so now, I did actually notice something on here, so people can actually get more of a view on this. Let me see if I can get my camera to. Oh no, you're not gonna play nice, so I'm gonna have to do you like this, and then we're gonna go like this, and we're gonna zoom in and. We're gonna zoom in, and then I'm gonna try to figure out which way I need to go in order to see stuff. Nope. There we go. All right, now. Perfect. Sorry if it looks a little grainy. I don't have the greatest light going on right now. All right. So, if you noticed here, that one and these ones are different. This one here that my screwdriver tip is on, this one right here that says 100 CO5, that's a POS cap. And then next to it, these guys, these are SP caps. You can tell the difference by how the top looks. The SP cap has more of a white bar with a plus sign because they are phase dependent, and same thing with these. But the SP caps are more of like a gray. The SP caps are aluminum on the inside, and then the POS caps are like tamzamine or something like that. I forget what the main component is on that one. But whenever people were talking about it, the first thing I did is I looked at but what's the difference? They're gonna do the same job. Okay, there's no real difference in pricing on them. There's no real difference on capacity. What you're gonna see a difference in is the lower end impedance. So as you put load onto them, the lower that they can dip on impedance, the more clean the power is going to be on the output. They both will do the same job. It's just internally, if the POS cap burns up, it stinks from hell and high water and back again. These are the most stinkiest capacitors to blow up. Where the SP caps, they're not so bad, but they're pretty much it's all the same. It's just impedance are going to be a little bit different. So you want to see, like, if you were to sit there and look at it on an oscilloscope, this one will drop down lower in the impedance level in these ones than it will on this bad boy. But I can get ones that will dip down. They're just a little bit more cost effective to get SP caps versus POS caps. No real difference. That's why whenever people were like, "Oh, you got POS caps on the back," and it's like, no, these are SP caps. You can tell by the little brown line on the top because they are polarity dependent. So we have positive on this side, of course, negative on this side. What I did notice, though, and not everybody seems to be doing it, and even my boards got them too. So right here, we got a missing capacitor. You could possibly put them in and get better clocking speed on there, but I don't. It just cleans it up a little bit better. Then there's one missing here, one missing over here. We got ones missing right here. Down here there's missing. So, I mean, they didn't populate everything with capacitors. Okay, so it depends, Tech Man. I've seen them where they've had 6 SP caps all around. No way, shape, or form were these cards supposed to hit 2 gigahertz on frequency. So people complaining that they hit 2 gigahertz on frequency is kind of a mute argument that people really shouldn't be worried about so much. These will do the same job as these. These are a little cheaper to place in with a pick and place machine. It takes a little longer in the pick and place to put these on. I believe that the Asus ROG Strix will have all MLCCs, which are the multi-layer ceramic capacitors. DeBauer actually removed the SP caps that were here, and he populated them in with these MLCCs. and he was able to clock frequency a little bit better. The thing is that these will work, and according to NVIDIA, these were the basic minimum requirements, was actually running 6 of these. It's not an issue. These are just supposed to kind of get rid of ripple noise out of the power arrangement to them. So whenever they decided to do 6, according to NVIDIA's minimum requirements, it worked just fine. The thing is that whenever you're dealing with new architecture and new firmware for it, you're going to notice that you're going to have instability first round. And what they could have done, they could back off the core and make sure that it never goes above 2 gigahertz and effectively stopping you from really overclocking. Because they know that the power management on there can't handle the little spike of ripple. And people are noticing, like under rare circumstances, that whenever the frequency jumps up just for a millisecond, it'll crash the desktop. I don't think it's due to hardware. It could be due to hardware and software. I think it's more on software, that they're just having a stability issue with the software side of it. I did notice that whenever I got the new drivers for it, that I can hit 2.1 gigahertz on the core. I was just a little over 2.1. So this arrangement is exactly how the Founders Edition is. Let me get that back in view. And it doesn't matter if you get the one that has 6 of these SP caps on there. If you are inclined to, you can actually take them all off. Because if you see underneath there, there's copper pads, and it's only using the pads at the top and bottom. So you can actually solder those all on there manually yourself if you wanted to modify your card. Not an issue. You just better have a micro tip soldering iron, so that you can get in there and actually solder these, or have a hot air station so that you can flow it on there. So this arrangement is good. Having 6 banks of the MLCCs would optimally be the best, but even in this arrangement, I have no issues. I have not experienced any kind of crashing with this. So that leads me to think that it's not really an issue with the SP caps. I do know people, some of the reviewers have them, like the pre-production, I guess, is the one that's got the 6 SP caps on there. And the people with the 6 SP caps, they've got to like do a overclock, and then certain games, as you turn them off, or under the right workload in certain games, it will spike and cause it to destabilize. Now, through software, they could sit there and limit that from happening, or make it a little softer on it, which the last update that they did basically made it a little softer on the little quick spike ups on there. Use hot air, yes. I love my my hot air machine. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. I got my hot air station off of Amazon. So I'm not sure why they would have all of this populated like that. It's like right underneath the power management too. That's really weird. So underneath these are like little breather holes. Not that I want to cover them up or anything like that. That is for sure. Let's go ahead and come on, camera. There we go. I don't want to be so zoomed in on it. All right, so we got our power management coming in. Let me see if I can see the numbers on there, and of course I cannot. I believe This one here is the power management. This lets the whole board know what's going on here. I believe that's it. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. This is the power management. Power management's here. So if people are wanting to do the power shunt mods, basically you just find yourself some more shunts and you solder them right on top. It'll basically cut what the card is seeing in half and allow you to actually overclock this even further. If you're going to do power mods like that, you assume all risk of damaging your card. It looks like this one and this one are really the only two you really need to do. DeBauer put them onto the bottom ones. He used the EVGAs, or no, I'm sorry, gigabytes, which he did this one, it made a little difference, but when he did this one, it made no difference between the two. So realistically, these are the only two shunts that you need, the shunt resistors that you need to stack, and then you'll be able to overvolt yours even further and actually see the true 4 gigahertz on there. It still trips me out that this stuff's like Play-Doh. It's like disgusting. I hope my stuff works better. I would think mine works better. Maybe that's how they're getting rid of the oil. Maybe they realized that people were noticing oil coming out and it's actually the thermal pads. I have no clue. I'm just going to assume that, yeah. I'm going to assume that they cheaped out or something. I don't know. Hopefully I don't have any goofy issues now that I replaced it with thermal pads. If it seems to act goofy on me, I'm going to have to basically get the -8 pads and put them on there, but I don't think I need to go that hardcore. I have never had to go that hardcore on any of the cards that I've ever had. Granted, I haven't utilized one that uses this kind of power, but still, come on. It shouldn't need it like that. You've been using a Black & Decker hot air gun to solder. Oh, that's hilarious. I've got a Hacko hot air... Or no, I'm sorry. The Hacko is my soldering iron station. Which hot air station do I have? Hold on here. I got it right in the next room here. Okay, so my hot air station is the Quick hot air station. All right, so, and you can tell that they've left some things out. Let me get this more into view here. Even on the front side, they've left things off of the board. Looks like they could have put another power rail right here. They did use the better capacitors up here. These ones are 820 microfarads at 2.5 volts. So these are the... Oh, stop trying to move. All right, do it like this. There we go. Now, here you can see the cheaper one. Oh, of course, it's not on camera. So if you see the pink one here, these are the ones that Zotac decided to use. So Zotac is actually a cheaper build on the PCB. They lined up all of these pink ones instead of the higher end blue ones like this. So it looks like the Zotacs will not be able to be overclocked as far as even the EVGA one here, because this one's going to give cleaner power to the VGA core. So, yeah. Let's see here. How long have I been streaming? We're almost an hour now. All right, so is there anything you guys would like to know about this PCB before I put new thermal paste on here and put the cooler back on and then test thermals with my thermal paste on there? Anybody got any kind of questions before I start buttoning everything up? I'll wait. I'll wait. Don't worry. You guys can ask questions anytime. No questions? Really? Really, people? Really, really? Really? Alright. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and start buttoning this stuff up a little bit. Let's get that one. And these pads are like 2mm pads. So the memory modules are using like 2mm pads. That is interesting, needless to say. And what's nice about this is you can actually... Oh no, you can't. I've actually got to put the cooler on there before I can even try to attempt to put the back plate on. Oh wow. I was hoping that I can do it the other way around, but no. I guess not. Alright, so since nobody's got any real questions, alright, so I'm going to take my MX4 thermal compound, non-conductive, and I'm going to give it a little squeeze on here, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and rethermal this thing, and then we'll be putting it right back onto the test bench, back into the mine. And you can't put too much of this stuff on. I mean, you could put enough on there that you're basically wasting it. Go ahead and clean that tip off. Squirt it full of goo. You're so dirty over there, talking about squirting it with goo. Alright, so go ahead and plug stuff in. Plug it in, plug it in. Alright, that's snapped in really nicely. Alright. So we're gonna give these just like little itty bitty quarter turns, just enough to get a couple of threads on there. Wow. These things take some serious pressure to get started. Wow. That is some serious pressure. Holy cow. So At this point, I kind of do it like I would tighten them up like a car. So here to here to here. So you're doing a big X pattern. Boom, 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 boom. Until you get it all tightened up, okay? And I'm going to do it a little at a time just because, yeah, this is some serious pressure on here. Okay, that one's touched. That one's touched. That one's touched. Alright, that's together now. Now just to kind of double check, make sure my thermal pads are all on there. And I should have grabbed my tweezers so that I can get the plugs back in. Getting my tweezer bag out. I did not think about grabbing that. Alright, so now I need to get these 3 plugs back in. There we go. That's one of them. Alright, I was able to line that one up. Alright. That blue one's just a pain in the butt to get in. Alright. And now I should be able to get the PCB back on here with the back plate and tighten everything down, and it should be good to go. Now do you slot back in or you just stand on it? Okay, so you guys just stand on there. Cool, cool. All right. So thank God we got the right to repair and actually do what I'm doing. Got to thank right to repair warriors like Louis Rossman. So if you guys don't know who he is, you should give him a look and see. Definitely go in between. So now I'm just kind of putting in the front I/O or the rear I/O, however you want to look at it. Right here, get me my smaller screwdriver. And then how I usually do it is I'll put the captive nut on here on my finger, and then get screwdriver on the other side, and then just kind of marry them together. All right, got that started. Such tiny little screws. Ah. All right. Gonna need to get a pair of tweezers on you, because my finger can't get in there where the cooler's at. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, you're gonna watch me struggle with the world's smallest piece here. There we go, I think. There we go. I got it! I got it! Yeah! Make sure that my pads are touching very nicely. Yes, we are. And that should be doing the trick. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Excellent. All right. The only other thing that I can do is basically, I set it down in where I didn't want to. Oh, that's disgusting. All right. I set it down on some of that gummy material. Ugh. All right, so cards back together. It should just hash. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this onto the mining rig that's right behind me. And no, I don't have a rig camera because I'm using that camera for... I could have used my other camera to show the rig itself, but nah, I didn't do that. Alright. Card is secure. Power. Power. And let's get a riser on you. Alright. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Alright, LEDs are all on, so the card is working, fans are all on. So at least that aspect is working properly. Alright, and let's get into here. There we go. All right, Hive should be connecting in. Yep. Oh. I sees it on the software. Let you guys seize this too. Alright, and there we go. I got 115.8 mega hash on here. It'd be really interesting if all of a sudden I get better hash rate because I'm cooling the VRMs down a little bit better. Nope, and it comes down. Once the memory modules warm up, it's like, eh. This is a GPU that will benefit from having cooling not only on the backside of the PCB for the memory modules, but it'll benefit from cooling on the liquid cooling on the front of it. So bam, we are seeing 40C on this, and it should go up in temps right now. I was getting a high side, I think, of like 52C. All right. And another round of 30 seconds, and it should, boom. So now it's starting to slow down on its upper end temperature. Good God, that back plate gets hot. Can almost cook an egg on it. Can't see the chat. There we go. You need X1 hardware info to peep the sensors. Red hot, temp in Celsius. If I had to take a guess of what the temps are without having a temperature probe on the back plate itself, I would say that back plate is probably about 55, maybe 60 C. It's like probably between 55 and 65 C. Dan the Dine. Since I know you're in that area where they use that weirdness. That's nothing. Well, you don't, Dan, you don't want a bunch of heat on the VRMs. It will hard cap itself. And now we're damn near up to full temperature right now. I've got a Delta fan on the rig. And I was kind of testing out, seeing if blowing extra air on the backside would actually help. Would it not help? Alright, so we are now at max temperature. At least I flip and hope so, because if it's not at max temperature, then the thermal paste that they used was better than what I just put on there. Because we're at 52C. It was at 52C before I shut the rig down, running at 296 watts. And if you guys don't really don't know about the card, that the copper cold plate that touches the VGA chip, that is basically like a bladder in there, basically. So it's got like an oil or something like that inside of there to help with the heat transfer, and then the heat pipes are on the back side of that. Alright, so it looks like it's holding 52C on it. So it made no difference to sit there and hit it up with the better thermal paste. So it looks like the thermal paste that they use on there, even though it's crusty and hard and all that good stuff, it looks like it's good enough, realistically. Oh, Dan, your Strix cards are running at 58 Celsius. Dan, which do you have, like the 20 series, the 10 series Strix? Which series of ROG cards you got? But everything below 70C, yep. Anything below, if you're below 60C, ooh, I just went up in temperature. That is a little worrying. 2070. Yeah. 2070 Super. So those usually had the Supers had a little bit of the higher power draw on them. Man, it makes me wonder how, if I want to wait a little bit more, I might have to put the Grizzly on here. The Arctic MX4 might not have a good enough of a temperature threshold. I just went up 1C. I mean, if it's just a 1C difference, that's not, I could live with that. Which means that I'll be doing testing with I'm kind of glad I got the Grizzly also, which has got the higher, I've got the Hydronaut, which has got the higher temperature. What's the temp? So I'm at 53C, so it looks like the Arctic MX4 is not as good. It looks like Grizzly is a little better, just from this alone, this test alone. I mean, 1C ain't much, but still, it's 1C. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to do what I just did. I mean, eventually you're going to have to replace the thermal paste on it. And this is just showing that you should use the Hydronaut. Because it's got, it's like 11 something, like 11.8 watts per meter Kelvin. Where the Arctic, the Arctic MX4 is 8.6 watts per meter Kelvin. So that makes a huge difference if you can wick away more heat. Yeah, I don't like the red graphics either. I'm not down on that. So it looks like it's stabilized at 53C, 113.7 mega hash on Ethereum at 296 watts. So wattage wise I'm the same, mega hash wise I am the same. There is no difference on what I just did. And it even could be that because I've got better thermal pads on the VRMs for the power management, that I'm actually transferring the heat better. There's always that too, that I'm actually transferring heat more effectively, and it's causing the VGA to get heat saturated a little bit more. Yo, what's up, not your normal miner? Dude, you just missed it. I just put the card back together. So you're a little late to the show, so you're gonna have to, when I'm done here, rewatch everything. Cause I pulled apart the card, showed everything on the inside of it, you know, all that nerd porn, PRON. Ooh. Woo! And it's just to recap it for you, for not your normal miner. I put the Arctic MX4 thermal paste on there. Across the VRMs, I came across like this paste stuff. Instead of using a thermal pad, they used this. I don't know what this stuff is, but I don't like it. Techman, yes, I did. I've got a Delta fan behind it. We had it into 1,000 pieces, my man. Too funny, too funny. I sure will. Just got off of work. Can't wait. Noise. So it looks like it did stabilize at 53C. I don't go really tight with them. You don't need to. They're talking like inch pounds of torque on there. So I think it was like 2 or 3 inch pounds of torque. So it's just more like a little eat with your fingers and you're tight. You don't have to go that far with torquing them at all. So we got any other awesome questions before I sign out of here and start doing some more testing? Yep, exactly. Yeah, I try not to tighten the screws on graphics cards like I'm not trying to tighten them down like I'm Hercules. It's like, eat, crack, no! Anybody got any other awesome questions? Anything whatsoever. And if you are just getting here, or you're new here, for any of you newbies that might be listening to this later on, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithms, and make sure that the little bell notification down there is selected. This way you guys get notified when I drop one of these awesome videos like this in the future. Yo. I've got a video I've got to edit that I pre-recorded. Very interesting one. I had a blast doing that one. Not quite red panda mining style. I don't understand how he can do that. He's got to have like a little chest mount for his camera so he can go like with 2 hands. Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, like that sucker. Thumbs up. Boom. So if you guys don't have any other questions, if you're into gaming at all, I'm also on Twitch under Crypto and Hot Rods, same name. This way, it's not confusing. So I'll probably be streaming some games on there a little bit later on. So definitely, I will. If any of you guys want to show up over there, I'll see you up over there. Sit there, play some games. You can sit there and tell me how horrible of a video game person I am, and then we can also talk crypto, mining, whatever. It's pretty much the chat. When it comes down to chatting in Twitch with my gaming, it's more of like an open forum chit chat. So if you're there, we can sit there and chit chat about whatever. Just kind of keep it PG. Let me just retract it like that. We're talking about whatever that's PG-13 approved. Dan to Dane, that's awesome. That's awesome. He's like, thanks for the great walkthrough. Really like your vids. Teaching us the ways of the GPU. From the GPU Jesus. I kind of ad-libbed that part. And he's like, thank you, Nemesis. You know what, Dan? Thank you. And thank all of you guys for showing up over here. I didn't really start doing these videos to have I'm gonna become a YouTube star and I'm gonna make all this money on YouTube, right? No, it was pretty much I started doing the YouTube videos this way I can document what I'm doing. This way, if I ever run into an issue, I can revert back to my own videos and be like, what did I do different? Why is this not working? I find that if I can sit there and do that, I've got a starting point to do diagnostic on my end, going, okay, I did this, this, and this. What's different from where it was working? And all of you awesome people out there have found great value in that, which is amazing. I know that whenever I was starting off in this, like 3 years ago, that the videos for doing mining content, like how to set the miners up, how to build a rig. I mean, there's a lot of PC building people out there, but they don't build mining rigs. So I was just going through my trials and tribulations, teaching myself all this stuff, because the majority of what I was finding was actually from like India or somewhere in the Middle East, where they spoke a whole nother language that I'm not smart enough, because I'm an American, because we don't get taught multiple languages here in the United States. So I wasn't able to understand them. So it was more like, let me see what you're doing. Okay, mute. You've got my full attention. You've got my motherboard. How did you set the BIOS up? And it just kind of came down to stuff like that. How did you set your BIOS up? Which drivers are you using? So I found a lot of that stuff just hard to understand when you're just looking at pictures of them clicking and you don't get any explanation behind it. So I figured that I would basically start this YouTube channel up so that other people, if they happen to come across my videos, they're like, oh my god, it's in English, I can understand everything he's saying. And I try to break it down so that anybody who's not even PC orientated, like they don't know how to build a computer or anything like that, I'm able to walk them through from start to finish, even though they've got no computer background. They should be able to watch any one of my given videos and actually do it. So I hope all of you guys like this. Definitely, you know, like I said, smash that lizard like button on your way out, and I'll probably see any one of you guys either on the next one or up on Twitch. Yo. So, peace.